No one likes getting in trouble, and so it can be pretty easy to blame others for our mistakes.
ClimateAdam, what have you done?
Oh, not even. It was my friend, Weather Chris.
Oh, please, we both know you don't have any friends.
And honestly, this can be a hard problem to grow out of. Adam, did you just post, "Hey cool cats, like and subscribe to ClimateAdam" on the company Twitter? No, I'm sure that was just Jan in HR. She is a massive fan. Look, Adam, we both know that you don't have any fans. Busted. And we see this pattern of blame on a global scale too. That's whether we're talking about a pandemic.
Yeah, no, I don't take responsibility at all.
Or discussing climate change. In fact, pretty often when I post a video, I get comments like, "What about China? Isn't America to blame? It's all Jan's fault. What's going on in India?" So let's get to the bottom of this. Which country is to blame for climate change? Climate change is driven by greenhouse gases, primarily carbon dioxide. So simple, we just look at who is emitting the most CO2. Well, that was easy, and the answer is kind of unsurprising. China is emitting more than any other nation. So, case closed.
Not so fast, you dingus.
Oh no, it's commenter Adam. He normally has a legitimate point to make, but he makes it in a needlessly confrontational way.
China is emitting the most CO2, but they also have the most people. Isn't it unfair to ignore that, you stupid head?
Well, that's the rudest thing I've ever heard on the internet, but it is a legitimate point. Let's look at the emissions per person. So that's changed things pretty dramatically. China actually emits half the US per person. So there you go.
Wow. I can't believe you've missed something so obvious.
Oh, what is it now?
You've just been looking at annual emissions, but how long does carbon dioxide actually stick around?
Well, once it's in the atmosphere, it can stick around for hundreds, even thousands of years.
Yeah, duh. So you should be looking at total emissions over the past, not just what happens in a single year.
Yes, that does make sense. Well, let's see who the top emitters are if we add up all the countries' emissions over time. You can see that the UK and Germany now make the top 5, even though their emissions today are relatively small. Okay, but who's actually to blame? I mean, every time we've worked this out, we've got a different answer.
Oh my god, ClimateAdam. More like ClimateBadAm.
That's actually deeply offensive.
The whole point is there is no right answer. We've just been playing the blame game, and there are plenty of other ways we could have looked at it too. But as much as we want to point the finger, it's easy for the finger to point right back at ourselves.
Right. The reality is every bit of CO2 matters. So if you're emitting carbon dioxide, then yes, you're a part of the problem. And blaming others for being even worse isn't exactly a great excuse.
Adam, have you been releasing vast amounts of CO2 into the atmosphere?
Yes, but America emitted way more.
He's 32.
But there's another question quite apart from who are the biggest culprits, and that's who will be the biggest victims. And when we look at that, we see that the countries that have emitted the least will be the hardest hit. So perhaps instead of playing the blame game, richer countries can grow up and take responsibility for their own actions. A part of that means cutting our own emissions. But it also means protecting and supporting our friends around the world who are going to bear the brunt of the changes we've caused.
I agree. Actually, yeah, that's right.
I know right now that unfortunately climate change is just one of many crises that we're dealing with. So if you'd like to see my coverage on the relationship between climate change and coronavirus, check out my playlist over here. Until next time, bye.
Adam, what have you done?